Hello everybody, Terry Carl Joyedian here with chapter 11 of the book Divine Guidance by Doreen Virtue. And it's about clairaudience, listening to the voice of guidance. And this chapter was a very pleasant surprise for me. I think I may have read this book before, or maybe I just know some of the stories from Doreen because they sound familiar. But I wasn't expecting to really connect with this chapter because I wasn't really sure that I'd had too many clairaudient experiences, although I have one very clear clairaudient experience, which I think I said I was going to share, so I'll go ahead and share now. And that I was flying into Los Angeles for a coaching training. I think it was my first one. And as we were circling the airport and getting ready to land, I heard this very clear welcome home. And I don't remember it sounding like it came from a different voice or anything. It kind of felt like it had come from me, but there was no way I would have had those thoughts. So I remember just being shocked by the clarity and the randomness of the message and just wondering what that meant. So I have definitely experienced that clairaudience, and here's some other examples of clairaudience that I just hadn't attributed to it. She says, you hear a song on the radio that seems to convey a message or a confirmation to you. I mean, I've had that many times. I've also, recently with my mother's passing, have had songs that related to her. A little inner voice helps you make a decision. That's what we normally think of with clairaudience. You hear a snippet of someone's conversation and the words are exactly what you need to hear. I never really thought of that as clairaudience. But I have another story of a time when I was in the School of Metaphysics and we were talking to people, I think about a class or a workshop that was coming up. We were in a mall and someone came and talked to us, and as he was talking, I swear, there was one point where during the conversation, it felt like his attention had turned toward me, even though he was talking to all of us. And it felt like his words were for me. It was really uncanny. I wish I could remember exactly what he said. But just the whole feeling of it, I knew the message, even though it was kind of for all of us, was also specifically for me. I really felt like he was talking into me, like maybe even he was channeling something. So that's clairaudience. There's a story in this chapter from Doreen about someone she worked with who was looking for an answer, and he turned on the TV, and then the words right at that time that he heard were the answer to his question. So it's pretty neat. Oh, and then I just wanted to share this one. A loud voice booms out from nowhere, warning you of impending danger. I think we all can kind of relate that to clairaudience. But what I really got from this, especially even this very first part of the chapter, is that we're receiving messages all the time. And it's important to ask a question, or it's important to expect feedback, expect comments, and then that will help us open up to what's already there. I actually specifically asked in one of my intuitive reports a few years ago, how can I better connect with the angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, whoever. And the answer was that basically the entities or the connections are there, but this one needs to develop the eyes to see. Which made me think, okay, does that mean I'm clairvoyant? I don't know. but basically that what I'm looking for is already there. I'm just not receiving it. Partly maybe because I'm doubting or not expecting it, possibly partly because I need to keep developing that awareness, that sensitivity. But that's really the message that I got from this chapter. There are tons of stories in this chapter. Most of this chapter is stories giving different examples of sometimes people getting very quiet messages, sometimes very clear, loud messages, unexpected messages. She talks about how sometimes your message could come from another person, like I mentioned. Yeah, So I really loved this chapter. I was very pleasantly surprised. I'm looking forward to trying out the other exercises for clairaudience now, which are going to be coming up the next couple chapters. I did last night try some of the clairvoyant exercises that I mentioned in the previous video, mostly related to the ones for this book. And I didn't get the exact picture. I was using what she said to use and looking for similarities, and I did find some similarities. For example, there was one where I was asking about an animal and I was getting like bear, and it ended up being like a shaggy dog. So not a bear, but you know, the fur, it's a mammal. They're both can be on all fours. So I don't know. I saw some similarities with that and some of the other exercises. So I don't know how much this book is in circulation. I may go ahead and add the link from the internet in case it is, but you might be able to find it somewhere, used bookstore, or possibly on Amazon or similar store. If you can find it, it's worth it. I like it. So I think I'm about halfway, actually I'm over halfway. I'm getting close to 2/3 through, and I'm looking forward to learning more about clairaudience, which I will be sharing with you in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and much love and many blessings to you all. Bye now.